CNN's correspondent Clarissa Ward was in Syria after the fall of Assad and claimed to have personally, her and her camera crew, freed a prisoner who said was a longtime political prisoner of the Assad regime. But in fact, the guy turned out to be a former intelligence officer for the Assad regime. Oopsies, easy mistake, maybe? Take a look at this.
I'm a civilian, he says. I'm a civilian. He tells the fighter he's from the city of Homs and has been in the cell for 3 months.
Okay, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
He clutches my arm tightly with both hands. After 3 months in a windowless cell, he can finally see the sky. My God, the light, he says. Oh God, there is light. My God, there is light.
Okay, now that on its face seems like incredible reporting. It seems very heroic. It seems moving, in fact. And in fact, there have been many, many scenes out of Syria after the fall of Assad that are moving. Some that are, in fact, chilling, as we know that the torture chambers in Assad's regime were referred to as like the pits of hell, and there were dead bodies found. And CNN, in fact, in that moment was looking for an American journalist named Austin Tice. And instead they found this guy who identified himself as Adel Garbal from Homs. Now, she said it was one of the most extraordinary moments she had ever witnessed. And I'm not here to say Clarissa Ward is a bad journalist. Clarissa Ward has been doing some incredible reporting, including from places like Gaza and other places that no one is allowed to, or very few have actually even tried to access. But this might have been a miss because actually reports online are suggesting that this guy might have been lying about his identity. According to the New Republic, he appears because he appeared well-groomed, uninjured, and a website called Verify Psy, which states that it fact-checked stories about Syria, said it could not find any such Adel Garbal. He also, and this was, some people noticed he didn't flinch after seeing people in the sky, and maybe he wasn't actually rescued after 3 months. And I'm not here to say I know exactly how one would respond. It seems the man, however, was finally identified, again by Verify Psy, and they reported that the residents of a neighborhood called Al Bayada in Homs had identified the man as Salama Mohammed Salama, or Abu Hamza, who is the first lieutenant in a Syrian Air Force intelligence. So part of the Assad regime. He apparently had been jailed only less than a month for extortion. So, that's just like financial crimes. We'll get into it. Verify Psy also said that Salama had been jailed for less than a month for a dispute over, quote, profit sharing from his extorted funds with a high-ranking officer. CNN was not able to verify the claim. Multiple residents have accused Salama of having a reputation for extortion and harassment. That means like theft and coercing residents into becoming informants. Also, he allegedly detained and tortured young men on bogus charges and then tried to, extort their family members to pay bribes for their release. So it's not clear what happened here. Like, did CNN just go in with a camera, get whatever you can? It is kind of a free-for-all right now. Did they know he was this guy? Did they not care? Did they not, there's a lot of questions here, Sharon, but we do know there has not been any sort of retraction or editorial sort of amendment. Journalist Tarek Kenny Shawa slammed Ward's response, saying that there was been no retraction, no apologies. The style of journalism that reporters like Clarissa Ward engage in is more about promoting themselves and their brand and emotional narratives they believe will bolster their ratings rather than reporting accurately and conscientiously, he wrote. Now, I'm of two minds. I think it's important to be here on the ground. I think it's cool, it's great. So many camera crews are not, so many foreign correspondents. I mean, the bureaus have been cut. But you do need to do your due diligence. And just because you're first on a story doesn't mean you can just put it out without fact checking it. But I don't know, what do you think, Sharon, about this?
I think three things can be true at the same time. Clarissa Ward is a brave war reporter. She's proven herself. Clarissa Ward is also doing it for the ratings, as CNN put her there. And when you take the filters out of journalism, just the standard filters, they're not there to kind of have fun with as a protocol as you plan a party. They're there to prevent things like this from happening. I do think it's rich. CNN, of course, has said nothing, and they won't unless they're forced, and the drumbeat goes on and on. They're hoping to cycle outlast any responsibility on their part. That's just how it works. It's rich, and, I'm not suggesting that the gentleman who's pointed this out is part of this, but so many in the media are. They don't apologize. There's no transparency, and so the peers aren't outraged, okay? ABC settled a lawsuit against this guy, this incoming president, not because it had merits, but because they were threatened and they were going to capitulate. And so, a mobster guy in Syria has, gotten out to terrorize more people. Let's just move on to bigger things, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like it's just funny because CNN does have a history of staging these things. They stage a border crossing. We saw how that happened. I believe it was a couple years ago. It doesn't mean they paid a, coyote to ferry migrants over the Rio Grande. But there was a boat that was already leaving and they were like, oh, wait, hold up, let's get the shot, And I have to say, as someone who's done some TV journalism, it is a lot more staged than we all are led to believe. It's quite staged. It's pretty much nothing but staged, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if they saw the guy, they got him out initially, they talked to him for a little bit and they were like, could we go back and do that again? You know what I mean? Could you just go back and we'll pretend like we found you, you tell us who you are. Does that sound good? Can you sign this release? Cool. They might have actually done that. I wouldn't have put it past them. But I also feel like this is the way the Middle East gets treated often, which is, we don't fact check. We don't know who was who. Yeah, they're Arabs, they're Muslims, whatever. It's the Middle East. It's all backwards, right? So we don't have to do our due diligence, nor do we have to apologize. And you see that time and time again. And for sure, we've seen that with a lot of the reporting coming out of Gaza during this genocide. Although I do say, and I will just put Clarissa Ward aside, that she's done some of the good reporting because there's been so little of it.
Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.